Hey, this is Kyle Crawford from Strong Dads. Strong Dads podcast would love to thank the Crimers Beer House for coming alongside of us. The Crimers Beer House was started in 1982 by the Crimer family, and since that time, they have definitely become a Cincinnati favorite. So if you're looking for an incredible meal in an incredible setting, definitely go down to Route 128 and check out the Crimers Beer House.
Welcome to Strong Dads. This is Merle Hutchinson sitting alongside Kyle Crawford. Kyle, what's going on today?
Not much. I just got off work this morning.
I can tell because you look kind of awake.
I feel good. You know, I brought the girls over. You've entertained my children, so I greatly appreciate that.
Your girls are so easy.
They're pretty easy.
They're good.
It was good.
Good kids. Yeah.
I like them. I'll probably keep them around for a little bit.
Yeah. And let's see if they agree and do the same for you.
What's going on with you? How you been?
Doing pretty good. Good. Yeah. Summer stuff is still going, but yeah, I got to be honest. Getting into that summertime blue.
Oh boy!
Between it just
getting to you, huh?
Well, I don't know. You've heard me before. I'd lose my mojo. The other day,
the question is, did you ever really have it to begin
with?
Wait,
listen. It's all relative. Okay, my mojo is not to be compared with anybody else's mojo.
All right,
it's mine.
yours. All right. Gotcha.
So, but I was like walking around. It was pouring down rain. We've had a lot of rain this summer.
Yep.
Crazy amount of rain. It was pouring down rain. It got a little cool. And I was like, you know what? I think I could just go take a nap.
What time was this?
It was about probably 2 in the afternoon. And I was like, oh, man, what's wrong with me? I got no mojo. And I was like, summertime blues, here we are.
I like it.
So,
yeah. We should probably do a show on summertime.
Let's do it. Let's talk about how sometimes your summer turns into days of worthlessness.
See, here's going to be a struggle for this show. Talking about summertime blues, because we although we maybe sometimes fall into summertime blue, the show needs to be based on our kids and our kids going through the summertime blues.
That's right.
And how we respond. So we as men
suck it up.
We just got to suck it up.
We got to suck it up. Well, maybe that's the direction we need to go with this.
Like it.
All right. So we're going to talk about going through summer and kind of like, all right, so what did you do? You know, at the beginning of summer, you pack all this fun stuff in. Like back in April and May, you're thinking about summer and activities, vacations, and all that. But then all of a sudden, you kind of get into the sort of the heart of summer. And I've been hearing this kind of stuff from my kids. I don't feel like it. I'm bored. And so, you know, a lot of times I can kind of relate to what they're saying. Summer's my favorite season, but there's like, you know. So we're going to talk a little bit about like how we as dads first motivate ourselves when we don't feel motivated, and then the expectation that you have on your kids. And sometimes there's a time to be bored, and boredom is not all bad. It's oftentimes where a lot of good creativity comes from. But boredom at the point of having all of a sudden a level of negative attitude, even depression, that's when it can get dangerous. So we're going to try to pull the reins in on that and have a little discussion about it. How about we say thank you to a few people?
We can do that. Strong Dads, we would love to thank Casey's Outdoor Solutions for coming alongside of us. Casey's Outdoor Solutions, they got a lot of landscaping, home decor stuff. Check them out up in Lawrenceburg Road. So really appreciate them for coming alongside of us. Let them know we sent you down there.
All right, yeah, that's great stuff. Also, I want to thank Crimers Beer House for coming alongside of Strong Dads and continuing to be one of our strong sponsors. So, you know, maybe that's what we should do is go down to Crimers on one of our days of summertime blues and just hang out by the river and figure out how to deal with the blues, you know?
We'll just drink ourselves, drink all of our blues away.
We're just joking, okay? Don't take that seriously, folks. That's not our remedy.
No, not at all.
But Crimers is a great place to go hang out, get a great meal. We want to thank the guys at Crimers Beer House for sponsoring us. All right.
Well, you know, the cool thing about, I think, this topic of the summertime blues and dealing those with ourselves personally and then obviously dealing with that with our kids is I'd imagine any strong dads, any dads out there can relate to this. I think, you know, collectively as parents, as dad, we can come together behind this show and hopefully get some good growth out of it, get some good learning, opportunities for us to hopefully take those times, because they obviously, any of you dads out there that have kids of age where that is a thing, where they're out, they're done with school for the summer. I'd imagine everyone's going through this similar idea, so if you're listening to this in a different time of year, right now we're in the midst, we're middle of July, right? We're middle of July. Summer break is winding down, is getting closer to the end. But just the hope is with this show that we can all kind of, collectively come together and all, get something from this show.
Right. And so we're going to talk about a few different things that we've done. Kyle actually even challenged me this morning, which kind of prompts me on some of the things that we're going to be talking about. But the idea of recognizing like what happens when you kind of start to feel like you lose your motivation.
Yeah.
All right. And who that impacts. I will be the first to tell you that if I don't feel like I'm in a very good mood or I don't have my motivation, it impacts the house, right? The attitude or whatever. And one of our little themes in our house is your mood, your negative mood is not permitted to influence other people in the house. Yeah. So in other words, if you have, and again, that's a basic backdrop statement. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It means when someone comes in and they're in a foul mood, our ask is you go take care of that. And whether you need to go out and go to your room and chill out, whether you need to go for a bike ride, whatever it is, you need to go take care of that. The rest of the house does not need to be brought down by your mood.
Which is a great starting point to know when it comes to this idea of summertime blue. We'll probably joke in this show as we typically do, but the importance of this, because you as a dad should essentially be setting the mood and what goes on in your house. And if you're bringing down with a bad attitude that you have because you're just not feeling it that day, and not to say like we all are going to have bad days, right? But it's just the overall attitude that you bring into your house. If you have that mindset and that attitude of just whatever, I'm just not really into it, like that sets the pace and the mood for your entire house. So I think it's a great place to start when it comes to the attitude because how can we tell our kids to stop acting like you're bored all the time, stop saying that when we're kind of carrying that exact same mentality and mindset.
I love what you're saying there. Like part of us being strong dads, and we lose sight of this all the time. We feel like we are the leader of ourself, and we forget that we are supposed to be the leader of our home.
Yep.
And where you go goes your home. Yeah. The phrase carries very well into mom too. When mom ain't happy, nobody's happy. Those kinds of things. I mean, the adults in the house, you carry the mood of the house. And if you don't like how your house is running, if you don't like how your kids are acting or behaving, the first place you have to look is in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I think we lose track of that. Like we want all of the kids to change. We want everything else to work that fits us. And we lose the idea that we're the one leading this ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the idea of what you say. They're like, I need to get my own act together.
Yep.
Right. So let me ask you.
Oh boy.
What is something this summer for you that's kind of set you back, like gave you an attitude or didn't go the way you thought it should be?
So I know I've shared on the show, I built a workshop, right? So
yeah,
my wood, we actually did, we did
that's
a show.
Right.
We did a show inside the wood, in the wood shop. So I currently don't have AC in this here wood shop. So I know, poor me, first world problems, right? So man, I love having my space, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, it is hard on a 95 plus day to get motivation to go out there and tinker and do the stuff that I love to do. It's with that in mind. Home Depot, they do this little workshop, and the girls and I would, pre-COVID, every Saturday, the first Saturday of the month, we would go and do this little workshop. And then COVID hit, so Home Depot actually hands these out. And so that's been kind of cool to, although my motivation to me personally get in my shop and get that fulfillment that I know that I thoroughly enjoy getting my workshop, it's been cool to kind of bring the girls and be like, all right, we're going to suck it up. Like we may have to do this like 8, 9 in the morning when it's not blazing hot. Right.
Right.
But just the overall, I don't know. I love that space and I love having that space, but it's been hard sometimes, just to get the motivation to be like, all right, I need to get in there. I need to whether it's clean the shop, organize the shop, put together something, build something. So that's been a little bit of a challenge.
So what do you do when you recognize that it's too hot or whatever? Instead of going to your shop, what do you do that you end up not being fulfilled from? Maybe that's the right phrase.
Yeah.
Do you mope around? Do you whine and complain?
What day are we talking here? Are we talking my first day of work? My first day of work, yes, I will be the first to tell. I have a tendency to veg a little bit, right?
Yeah.
No, if it's my second day, it's my second day off, and again, making excuses, call them whatever you want. I just don't feel like getting in the shop, right?
Right.
Having my girls there, they are always wanting to do stuff. We got a pool pass this year for the first time, so that's been cool to get up and go to the pool. So we try and stay busy with odds and activities with the girls, because again, if I fall into that mindset where it's just, golly, I just don't feel like doing it, and then I sit around and all of a sudden I look at the clock and it's 3:00 in the afternoon, and all I've done for the day is sit around and watch TV. Like, It's not very fulfilling. Not been a good day. The girls are that's the days when the girls do have this tendency to be like, Daddy, I'm bored. What are we gonna do today?
Right.
And I think it goes to that exact point which we said at the very beginning, that we kind of set the pace for that. So if I get myself in a funk where I'm just like, I'm just not feeling it today, it trickles into my girls, and they have that same type of mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's this is always a reminder to me of how selfish my nature is.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me be very loud and clear. We talk all the time about being servants and all of that, and that is not my nature. There are some people who are born servants, and I love them, and they're great people, and they're actually people that I look up to, but that is not my nature. I serve because I think it's important, and it's part of what I know I'm called to do, but it's not my nature. My nature is to wake up and see what I want to do that day or I need to do. Okay. And when I don't get to do what I want to do, I mean, even when the weather doesn't cooperate, right? Like, man, today, I'm going to go out and go work out in the yard or go ride a bike or whatever, and it's raining.
Yep.
Well, then all of a sudden, because I got my self goggles on, is all I do is see it through how I'm not getting to do what I want it to do.
Yeah.
And so the boredom and the lack of motivation comes from me losing my direction.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that. Like, I know all that stuff. But it's hard then for me to pull it back in and go, okay, what's the bigger picture? What can we do for the family? What can we do for the kids? And so part of my work has been, you guys know the story here that we had 2 older boys and they're out, and now we have 3 younger kids. We had 4, almost 5 years of being total empty nesters. Before, when I got bored, I would just go hop in my truck and go find something to do, right? I mean, and whether it was productive or not. Now, when I'm bored, I have to relearn, like, okay, so what are the kids doing?
Yeah.
And try to see things through their eyes, which is not a natural thing for me either. It's constant practice for me.
Well, I got a question for you. So, and I think I've shared this on the show. So my small group, we're reading the entire Bible in 90 days. Along with that, something I wanted to start, and I have since failed again, is I wanted to try and work out along with reading the Bible. And June, I had a great month. I was running and doing the row machine at work, and obviously being what you and Linda do with Faith, Family, and Fitness, with Rock Solid Family. Like, how do you continue to motivate and get guys and people to continue to want to show up and work out and prioritize their fitness? Because I'll be honest, in the month of June, I was doing pretty good. I missed like 5 or 6 days in the whole month of June from not running, in those days. And then it's like July hit, and maybe I got the summertime blues a little bit, right? And I'm like, I'm not feeling it right now, right? So how do you continue to bring up, especially when it comes to the workout, like what do you find is success for encouraging people to continue to stay motivated for that fitness side?
I just tell them to stay home and sleep all summer.
I want a part. I want that one. Sign me up.
You know, I'd be having people pay me to say that to them. Like, really? Like, here, I'll pay if
I can get jacked if I just sleep all day.
If I sleep, you don't have to do nothing, man. Yeah, yeah. So actually, it is a huge challenge, and it's part of what we're going to talk about in terms of the advice, like. Why we get to that funk, that place where like, man, I'm losing my motivation. What's going on? And the challenge there is that one day turns into two, turns into a week, turns into a month, and then all of a sudden you create a lifestyle based around that, and it's a lifestyle that you don't like. Yeah. You know, anyone I've ever met that's overweight is not happy about being overweight. Sure. Okay, but they get stuck in the groove, and so. The way that, well, I'll tell you what I want to do. I kind of want to put it into a list of advice things because we're going to talk about like, okay, so not only what do you do for your kids, but what do you do for you? Yeah. Okay. So the bottom line is that we lose motivation, and you lose motivation usually in the middle of the game or the middle of the season. Okay. So think about that for just a second. At the start of a game, if I'm playing a basketball game, the start of the game, everybody's motivated, right? Yeah. Like there's a lot of new stimulation going on. The court, the referee, the new players, and then all of a sudden we get into the end of the second quarter, beginning of the third quarter, and you will see players lose their motivation. Yeah. You will even watch on TV, like when they do the ratings, you'll see that people viewing sports drops in the middle. Yep. They'll watch the beginning of a game, and then what's the next part they'll watch?
The very end.
The end.
Yep.
All right. And so the beginnings and the ends are where people find motivation because there's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of, oh, we better get it done. Yeah. Right. It's the middle. And so we're doing this show right now because we are in the middle of summer. Yeah. And so this is the middle of the game. We've kind of gotten distracted. We've kind of lost focus. What happened to my motivation that I had to do all these projects, all right? Your kids are in the same deal. Yeah. And so if we don't recognize it, we tend to want to finish strong. But if we do so much damage in the middle of the game, it's hard to recover and win the game, right? Like all of a sudden, man, I didn't do anything this summer, and then you got a week left, and sorry, the summer's over. You let it go. So we want to talk a little bit about like how do we get through the middle of the game? How do we keep our motivation in the middle, whether it's summer, whether it's in the game or whatever, okay? So the first thing, let's talk about this in terms of giving advice. Why do you think that kids look forward and adults look forward to summer?
Well, I think we did a whole show on this.
That's
freedom.
right.
We did a show on freedom. I think I remember I put myself in my girl's shoes. I remember I was not a fan of school, and it's like school's out, right? School's out for the summer, and it's like freedom. I can do whatever I want Monday through Friday, or Sunday to Sunday. I can do whatever I want, right? So when you're in school, it's like it's very structured. You have rules, you have things you have to get done, you have these tasks to get done, and then it's like summer rolls around. It's like, heck yes, it's go time, right? I'm here to party, and so I know for me, and I think my girls, that's something that they enjoy, that the getting away from that structure, because again, you start a school's fun because it's back to the structure, it's back to the grind, the repetition, and I think for a short period of time where that's you like that and you want that. I think people want to have structure and want to be led in that way, and then middle of the school year it's the same thing, and then towards the end it's like just like you're saying, that sense of urgency. I got to buckle down, I got to get the grind back, and then summer hits and it's just that freedom.
Yeah. So what happens there is just like you said, you look forward to a new set of stimuli, new stimulation hitting you from different things, new dreams coming. Okay. So we look forward, like before you go on vacation, most kids and even adults can't even sleep the night before, right? The anticipation of something that's going to be fun, new, different, exciting. Okay. So the idea that happens is actually because you actually start a vision and your brain starts planning. you're not even living that day yet, right? Summer's not even here, but in May you are already getting excited about it.
Yeah.
And that excitement, that's an emotion, and emotions give us energy. Okay? So it's important that when all of a sudden you start to see, well, where's my motivation gone?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, when your motivation's gone, you have not been dreaming. You have not been planning anything. All right? And you've lost that vision. So the first thing we have to do is recognize, well, how did I get motivated to begin with? Well, sometimes we have to mix it up.
Yeah.
We need a new set of stimuli, right?
Sure.
Like, and again, not to take this crazy, but I will see guys go out and buy a new set of golf clubs.
Didn't you just do that?
I might have done that. And the idea that, okay, like this is something to look forward to. Maybe this will help me to get motivated. Okay,
Yeah.
And we want to be careful, right? Because we could also become very irresponsible with that. Like
Sure.
every
Yeah,
time I turn around buying something new, thinking that that's going to get me going. But if I approach it with a little bit of thought and planning, I can be like, you know what? Not only am I going to buy the clubs, but I'm going to sign up for a league.
Yeah.
Remember what you prompted
yeah.
me with
Yeah.
today?
Yeah.
So I have not played golf like I thought I was, and Kyle said, hey, I need somebody to help fill out one more spot in a league I'm doing. And so right away, my brain's like, that's what I need to make me be held accountable.
Yeah.
So now there's something planned, something that's like, oh, yeah, that's what I was missing. I hadn't signed my name on any line.
Sure.
All right. So that whole idea of you recognizing the need, that it's not always just going to be spontaneous. You're not just always going to have a dream that motivates you and occupies you every day. You're going to have to be out thinking, what do I want?
Yeah.
What do I want to achieve?
Well, with that, I guess maybe, for Jenny and I, we bought pool passes, like I said before, and we've tried to keep our girls busy and tried to, do, play dates with their friends from school. We did summer golf camp with Ava. So we've tried to fulfill, and try and give our girls new motivation and new excitement to hopefully stay away from those summertime blues. There's I'm bored today. But I think they still happen, right? The potential there is that it still happens. So how do we approach our kids? Because as parents, we are supplying and giving them opportunities to stay busy, to hopefully stay motivated. But those times are still happening. You get in those funks. I know for me, my first day off of work, I'm in that funk. I'm just not feeling anything right now. I definitely don't want to go to the pool, right? So and then it's almost like the excitement of going to the pool dies off a little bit. So it's trying to find that balance of trying to almost like reinvigorating those motivations and try and find new things with that. And I don't necessarily know what that looks like, because it's like, I also want my girls to have a little bit of downtime, right? I don't want to just fill every second of every day and say, here, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then that. So trying to play that balance as a parent role, to be like, all right, today we're gonna go to the pool, and then tomorrow we might not do anything. We might just play at the house. There's a local little organization that does free bowling for for kids. So we tried to do that on rainy days, because rainy days are one of those days where it's like I just don't feel like doing anything, right? And so I think it's definitely a challenge and a balancing act to try and keep the motivation and keep the excitement, to try and stay away from those summertime blues for our kids, but also not filling every second of every day.
Well, part of the challenge that we run into is at the beginning of the summer, and especially with young kids, we do start planning, and a lot of times, especially with a lot of different parents and just how they see productivity, they overschedule their kids. Well, what are we going to do on Monday? Well, what are we going to do on Tuesday? Well, that's got most of that day filled, and so that kind of gives us okay, we're off the hook. We don't have to be responsible for downtime, okay? And to a degree, that's okay, because that shows your kids what it's like and having different experiences and that sort of thing. But what you will often start to find is we've done shows before on rescue parenting. I did an entire article on rescue parenting. You become the rescue parent. Who does your kid go to the first time they're bored? You. What are we going to do? I'm bored.
Yep.
They want you to save them.
Yep.
So it's really important that if you're going to impart this ability to problem solve for your child, that you don't solve that problem. You've given them different ideas. You've exposed them to different things that you can do, and that's okay. But you want to actually limit the amount of things that you actually do for your kid. Like the idea that you have to keep your kids busy 5, 6, 7 days a week is really just your problem.
Yeah.
That becomes your problem, because as soon as you don't fulfill it, they're looking at you like, well, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
You've created a monster.
Yeah.
And so instead, what I really want to do is, hey, guys, we're going to do something a day or two this week. Maybe this week we'll go swimming, or we're going to do this. But the other days, I want to make fertile ground for them to figure out what they're going to do. I'm not going to figure it out. And so what fertile ground looked like when I was a kid? Get your butt outside and figure out what you're going to do. Yeah. That was fertile ground. Yeah. Now that sounds just kind of cold and harsh, but that's that drive of you learning how to do things. Yeah. Our youngest son is fantastic at this. He does get bored. He loves to be active, okay? But he gets bored, and I'll say, go figure out something to do. Now, I have to be careful, because all of a sudden I'll go out in the garage and he'll have tools out, he'll have pieces of lumber out, and I'll be like, oh, he's making a mess. You know, I've said it before. I've got to appreciate the idea that he's bending nails and trying to create something that's never probably going to stand, okay? But he's staying busy, and that can occupy 2, 3, 4 hours.
Sure.
And that whole idea is his brain's doing more growth and excitement and just adventure in that time than me going, well, let me hop in the car and I'll drive you over and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, so that idea is you provide the fertile ground, and you do that by actually saying you're going to get out and do something. Yeah. You're going to figure it out.
Well, that idea, I think, kind of leads right into the idea which you had briefly mentioned before. Man, as parents, we essentially have a vision for what we want our girls, or Jenny and I, we have a vision for what we want our girls to be doing this summer. And one of the things one of our visions we did this summer was we wanted our girls to officially learn how to swim. Yeah. And we were like, we want no more floaties, right? So we did the whole swim lessons thing. And now, just what you were saying, we have given our girls we've helped teach them the skills and abilities that they need to know how to swim. So now when we go to the pool and they still fall into that same summer blues where I'm bored even at the pool, it's like, well, go work on jumping off the diving board now.
Right.
Go work on swimming in the deep end by yourself and trying to build, because that vision that we have for our girls to learn how to swim doesn't just stop, okay, now they can keep themselves afloat. Like, now let's improve, because here in November, we're going to be going to the beach, and the ocean is a whole nother animal when it comes to swimming. So we need to be more proficient. We need to be able to jump into the deep end, maybe hit the bottom and be able to come right back up. So it's just that idea that you were talking about, like, we have given them opportunities to fulfill that motivation and stay motivated, and then it's almost like you need to have some self-fulfillment. You need to go out there and you need to be like, I can jump off the diving board without mom and dad even watching me, right? Where because just like you were saying, if it gets to the point where they continue to look for you to rescue them from their boredom, man, we've done them a big disservice.
Yeah. So what about like the MidSeason Blue, right? So they got all excited. They started in on this stuff, but eventually, the water gets. I'm tired of swimming, or I'm tired. Okay, so and this is where you and I even were talking about our challenge here in the middle of the summer. As a man, I mean, I've had to recognize this and say, you know what, it's time for me to get back to some to-do list.
Yeah.
To sit down and in 10, 15, 20 minutes, I can actually write down some new midterm goals.
Sure.
Like, you know what? I did not do this at this point this summer. Then here's something I'm going to put back on my list. Yeah. I'm going to kind of reinvigorate, give myself a shot in the arm. When I used to train and do triathlons, I'd always have a big end of the season race that I wanted to do, but that is a long season. And you especially with all the training stuff, you just get wore down. You get tired of even doing any of it. So I used to try to put like a late July kind of race that was like, hey, you know what, this is I want to just do good for this one coming up. And I try to lose sight of the big one down the road because it just seemed like too much of a gap. All right. Yeah. So for us to ignite the mid-season, All right. A good coach, when they see their team is playing like they don't have motivation midstream, a good coach can call the team in at halftime and help recreate the new motivation. Okay. And sometimes those halftime locker room talks are things that you can't put on the TV, right?
Yeah.
But whatever it is, like, we need to have that motivational talk. We need to have somebody put a little fire under our butt that makes us go, ooh, there is something pressing here.
Yeah.
That sense of urgency has to be put back in. And we have to do that. And if I don't do that, then my sense of boredom or lack of motivation is on me.
Right. So to that idea, man, I'm thinking of my girls, and it's just like, again, those phrases and sayings are being said, and it's like, what is that mid-season, what is that midsummer thing that we're gonna do to try and reinvigorate them and re-engage them into what's going on? I think one thing that we have, Jenny does this better than I do, but she's incorporated trying to get back into the flow of school a little bit, and try to incorporate some form of again, those rules, those standards, the structure that you get with school. So not every night by any means. Jenny's incorporated, start doing spelling words, trying to get back into that little bit of a routine, not throwing it all back into them at once. But I think it's that we need to slowly incorporate looking into the future, knowing what our girls are going to fall into and going to have coming up. And again, it's easy because my girls enjoy school right now. I don't know what it's like to have a 15, 16-year-old kid that's like, I freaking hate school, right? I don't want anything to do. Because I remember school, schools used to do summer reading. And my mom, it was a bear. My mom was like, Kyle, you have to read this book. You need to be on this chapter, on this. I remember that, right? And it's, like I said, it's very easy for my girls because they do enjoy that. But I think, just what you're talking about, bringing up, that enlightening them and letting them see things that are going to, because obviously as a parent, we need to have, and I think it goes right back into that vision for our girls. I don't want my girls to just be, on first day of school to be like, holy cow, I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. And so I think it feeds into kind of, the mid-season form we're in right now.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And then so finally, one of the things that we get into a challenge with is when we come to the end of a season or the end of the game. And if you're at the end of the game, everybody at the end of the game knows that the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's no surprise. What becomes a surprise is, what is my standing at the end of the game? Am I happy with my standing?
Yeah.
If I look at the scoreboard and there's only 30 seconds left on the clock and I'm 100 points down, that's a terrible way to end the game.
Yeah.
Not only does that end that game or season poorly, but it actually starts the next one poorly.
Yeah.
It leaves a very bad taste in our mouth. And so trying to get that sense of urgency in your kids, like, you don't want to be in that position. You don't want to be at the end of a summer or at the end of your life or at the end of your career or at the end of your school year and go, wow, I'm so deep in the negative, in the loss, in the failure, that recovery is going to be hard. And so that's that midterm drive. Listen, as a dad, I want my kids to envision what they are looking at, like at the scoreboard in the last minutes. Because if they don't have a fighting chance, chances are they're not going to fight at all. Okay? And so it's very important to teach, where do you want to be sitting at the end of the season, at the end of the game? All right? And, I mean, ourselves, how many times have summers come and gone and we go, well, the summer came and went, and I never did do that. And then we end up having a regret. And, that's on us. And again, it's up to me as an adult to figure out how well I'm going to carry that, or whether I'm going to let it weigh me down, or if I'm going to shake it off or whatever. But the idea of, what is it going to look like in the remaining seconds of the game? All right.
I like that. That's good stuff, man. I hope you guys, kind of, we're hearing and hopefully, relating to some of the stuff we're talking about. Man, we are in mid-season form right now. We're in the midst of summer. It's winding down. The back to school advertisements are coming up.
I hate those.
Well, I bet you as a teacher,
I hated that. And they came earlier and earlier every summer. All of a sudden, it'd be the end of June, back to school. little special. I'd take the shotgun out and shoot the TV.
But no, I mean, we're midsummer. Man, it is never too late to reinvigorate, to re-engage with our kids. Do it alongside with your wife. Build and instill vision just for small tasks, for everyday stuff. Vision sometimes gets wrapped up in long-term, 10, 15 years down the road.
Right.
Man, have a vision for the rest of the summer. What do you want the rest of your summer to look like? And start incorporating things, starting re-engaging your kids. Man, because, again, going back to the very beginning of the show, if your attitude is, let's just get, tomorrow over with, and then the next day, and then, eventually you guys go back to school, and man, just understand that you as the dad, you as a leader in your home, man, it is our role and our responsibilities to continue to engage our kids and continue to help them through the summertime blues when they are in that. Be like, no, we're not going to have that attitude today. Right. We're going to still have bad days throughout the summer, sure, but we're not going to let those one bad days turn into weeks, turn into the rest of the summer. So just really encourage you guys, man, come alongside of your kids, continue to motivate them, to re-engage them in everything we're doing.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Long-term goals mean nothing without daily expectations.
Yep.
Long-term goals are just words. And so to put a long-term goal into, well, what am I going to do today?
Yeah.
Helps give me the fuel to continue to proceed to the long-term goal. So good stuff. Hopefully you guys as strong dads out there, you're continuing to challenge yourself. You're shaking off those summertime blues. You're readdressing like, man, what are some goals I have, whether it's at the home, the career, your fitness, your faith, whatever it is, that you're just readdressing an area that you seem to be maybe feeling that summertime blue.
So is that a yes? You're in the golf league now?
Actually, it is. I actually talked myself in. So I'm your final man. I complete the roster.
Right, I
am. You heard it right here.
See, we got him motivated.
Officially signed in. That was called peer pressure, by the way, and I just fell.
Peer pressure, motivation, whatever
it takes, whatever works. Yeah. So anyway, it's good stuff. Get out there and motivate. Be the leader in your home. Don't sit back and let the TV or social media or life lead you.
Awesome. Love it. Casey's Outdoor Solutions, Crimer's Beer House. Thanks so much for coming alongside of us. Really do appreciate them. We really appreciate you guys for tuning in every week. We continue to put shows out there. We really do appreciate you guys. Man, if you guys like what you hear, share the heck out of it. More guys need this message more now than ever. Every time Merle and I get on these mics and we talk, we're talking to ourselves just as much as, hopefully putting out positive and encouraging stuff out there for you guys to listen to tune in. Share the heck out of our show. Like I said, give us a 5-star rating on all the platforms when it comes to the actual podcast, on YouTube. Subscribe to us. Let us know what you guys think. Put in the comment section any topics, any questions you have for us. We'd love to tackle them together. Reach out to Merle and Linda at Rock Solid Families. They would love to come alongside of you. Anything you guys are going through with your wife, with your kids, man, they would love to come alongside of you and help work through those issues and stuff you're going on and hopefully finish the summer strong. All right?
That's right. Yeah. So what do we say? Go out there
and be some strong dads.
Be some strong dads. I think I'm going to take a nap. No, never mind.
You got to go work on your golf swing.
I do need to work on the golf swing. I'd like to welcome Casey's Outdoor Solutions as a sponsor to our podcast. Casey's is a premier garden center and gift shop located in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Casey's offers a wide selection of plants, landscaping materials, home and garden decor, and gifts for every occasion. Casey's is committed to providing exceptional service, a unique shopping experience, and value to every customer. Stop in and see what makes Casey's so unique. Located at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, or call 812-537-3800. Let Casey's help you add beauty to your home.